Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Braxton Kersting, and I'm excited to talk to you about MLC CAD Systems API services and how they can make a real impact on your business. In today's presentation, we'll cover three key areas. First, what exactly are APIs? Second, how can APIs benefit your organization by streamlining processes and improving efficiency? And finally, where does MLC CAD Systems come in, and how can we create a tailored API solution that meets your specific needs? By the end of this session, you'll have a clear understanding of how APIs can bridge the gap between your software tools, automate tedious tasks, and ultimately boost your productivity. So let's dive in. Now, before we dive into the technical side of things, I'd like to take a moment to introduce myself. I've been with MLC CAD Systems for 8 years now as an applications expert. I bring over 14 years of experience working with SOLIDWORKS and am a certified SOLIDWORKS expert. In my past, I've led new product development projects, and currently, I'm focused on our data management solutions, as well as developing custom applications and add-ins that help our clients get the most out of their SOLIDWORKS environment. Outside of work, when I'm not chasing my 2 young kids around, I enjoy programming as a hobby, as well as spending some time on the golf course and hitting some slopes for some snowboarding. I'm looking forward to sharing how our custom API services can bring real value in your business. Now that you know a little bit about me, let me introduce you to MLC CAD Systems. MLC CAD Systems has been a trusted value-added reseller for over 40 years now. Our motto is unbeatable service, and we strive to live up to that with every client interaction. We're proud to be the #1 reseller of Mastercam worldwide, leading SOLIDWORKS provider in the US, and one of the fastest growing Markforged resellers in North America. With over 24 offices spread across 24 states, we are well positioned to provide exceptional service and support. Our team holds over 3,000 technical certifications and demonstrates our deep expertise and commitment to quality. What truly sets us apart is our best-in-class training and support. We don't just sell software, we partner with our clients to ensure they have the tools and knowledge to be successful. Whether you need training, support, or custom development, like API services we'll discuss today, MLC CAD Systems has got you covered. To start, let's talk about APIs. APIs, or Application Programming Interfaces, act as digital bridges allowing different software applications to communicate and work seamlessly together. You can think of them as translators that enable systems to speak the same language and share data effectively. Now, why are APIs so important? Well, they help us automate repetitive tasks, which not only reduces manual work, but also minimizes the risk of human error. APIs also enable the integration of different systems, ensuring that all the tools you use are working in harmony. For example, there may be multiple steps in your workflow that typically require manual input. With an API, many of these actions can be automated, simplifying the process from an end-user perspective and boosting overall efficiency. Ultimately, APIs are all about streamlining workflows and letting your software do more of the heavy lifting for you. At MLC CAD Systems, we specialize in helping you get the most out of your SOLIDWORKS environment by delivering targeted solutions where you need them most. We focus on 3 key areas. Custom tools may be one-off utilities designed to handle specific tasks in bulk. For example, we might build a tool that applies changes to multiple models at once, or automatically swaps out drawing title blocks and notes. By automating these repetitive tasks, we save you hours of manual effort and reduce chance of error. We develop tailored macros and add-ins for both SOLIDWORKS and SOLIDWORKS PDM. These can range from a custom serial number generator that creates unique part IDs to a purpose-built engineering change notice workflow inside PDM. Or we can even create a brand new command right in SOLIDWORKS itself that can integrate industry knowledge into the design process, whatever your team needs to work more efficiently. And finally, we can connect all the pieces of your SOLIDWORKS ecosystem, whether that's simulation or draft site, or even external ERP systems. Our goal is to ensure data flows smoothly between all your tools, eliminating duplicate entry, and keeping everyone on the same page. At the core of each of these services is a deep understanding of the SOLIDWORKS API backed by extensive database management and software development experience. We don't just build software, we create robust, scalable solutions that align with how your business operates. Ultimately, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. When we begin any new project, the first step is setting clear expectations. And this involves a few critical components. Right out the gate, we work with you to determine if there is a proper fit. And we do this by aligning our capabilities with your specific needs and challenges. And next, we define the problem clearly. This step is essential to ensure that everyone is on the same page about the goals and the desired outcomes. Evaluating the ROI potential comes next. We assess the business value of the project to make sure that the investment will bring measurable benefits. And finally, we aim to build a strong foundation through transparent communication. This is where we establish trust and set the stage for a successful and collaborative partnership. Together with these steps, help us create a well-defined path forward and ensure that your project starts on solid ground. Once we've established a solid foundation, we move into the discovery and alignment phase. This phase is critical to ensure our approach is tailored to your needs. During the needs assessment, we gather all necessary information to understand your current processes and challenges. Goal alignment allows us to ensure your project goals match your business objectives, setting us on the right path. Defining the scope and objectives involves clearly outlining the project deliverables, timelines, and responsibilities. And finally, project planning brings us all the pieces together, creating a roadmap that guides our work from start to finish. And this structured approach helps us stay focused, aligned, and ensuring the solution we deliver meets your expectations and drives tangible results. After this phase, we deliver these documents for you to review internally and ultimately make the best decision for your business. Our approach combines seamless integration with rigorous testing. Our goal during integration is to ensure minimal disruption to your current workflows, prioritizing a smooth user experience within existing SOLIDWORKS and PDM environments. For testing, we utilize criteria specified in our scope of work document. Typically, these are real-world, customer-supplied sample file sets to validate functionality and reliability. For risk management, we identify potential challenges early as possible in the process and develop contingency plans to handle them proactively. And finally, our acceptance testing process engages end users directly. This helps us confirm the final solution meets all expectations and is ready for real-world use. Our commitment doesn't end when the project is delivered. We offer support contracts tailored to your custom solution, designed to address unexpected exceptions or bugs that might not surface during initial delivery. And when SOLIDWORKS updates are released, our team can test and validate that the new version doesn't introduce issues with your custom add-in. Additionally, if your needs change or you identify new opportunities to enhance functionality, we're ready to collaborate on a new project phase, building upon amending the existing solution to deliver even greater value. Our solutions integrate seamlessly with SOLIDWORKS tools and extend native functionality. Whether it's a custom add-in or database integrations between two disparate systems, we ensure your tools work more efficiently. A key advantage is our EquivaQ software suite. It's an off-the-shelf solution that enhances SOLIDWORKS PDM Professional. These add-ins provide automation, streamlined workflows, or dashboarding for some deeper data insights. These are ready to use without extensive custom development. Beyond EquivaQ, we build custom integrations for SOLIDWORKS CAD, enabling advanced automation, including simulation, data analysis, and inspection process improvements with SOLIDWORKS Inspection. For SOLIDWORKS PDM Professional, we leverage its API and Open Web API to expand functionality, including web-based automation solutions. We also create custom SQL queries, providing direct access to PDM data for reporting and process optimization. And with the release of SOLIDWORKS Manage 2025 Service Pack 1, we now have even more flexibility for managing projects, processes, items, and with enhanced API support for automation. Now, let's take a look at 3 of our past developed projects, 2 PDM add-ins and 1 SOLIDWORKS add-in. Each was built to solve a specific challenge, whether improving data management, automating a workflow, or enhancing the user experience. We'll go through each one, showing the problem it addressed and the impact it delivered. Anyone who has ever used a smart numbering scheme has likely encountered frustration at some point. The idea seems so simple: assign meaningful part numbers that help organize and categorize data. But in practice, it often becomes a source of inefficiency and errors. Typos, duplicate numbers, and inconsistencies are common when we're relying on human input. Once a numbering scheme is in place, making changes can be complex. As a company grows, the original numbering logic may no longer fit new product lines or business needs. One of our clients, manufacturing company, struggled with exactly these issues. Their engineers needed to follow a structured numbering system for categorizing parts, but managing it manually was time-consuming and prone to errors. Their PDM system didn't enforce rules well enough, and they constantly dealt with duplicate numbers and misclassified parts. They needed a solution that could automate the smart numbering, ensuring unique and structured numbers without requiring constant manual oversight. And that's why we built this PDM add-in for them. Before we dive into the specifics of our solution, let's first explore the concept of a smart numbering scheme and the challenges our add-in aims to solve. Now, many organizations do want smart numbering serial numbers that are not just random, but have some meaning behind them. A well-structured numbering system can indicate part categories, departments, or project details at a glance. That makes it easier to manage the data. However, implementing such a system is not as straightforward. 2 major challenges arise. Users need structured numbering, but it has to remain flexible enough to accommodate changes over time. And every number typically needs to be unique, and we want to avoid duplicate records. We also typically want to avoid gaps in numbering. One common approach to smart numbering involves breaking it into structured segments. Here we have an example including broader categories such as department for the first 2 digits, or maybe even a product type. Adding another classification, this second prefix, is maybe some static subcategory or a project number. And finally, we have a unique counter, which ensures a distinct identifier for each new entry. And this is just an example of how smart numbering might be structured. Different organizations may have their own variations. Now let's move on and see how our add-in automates this process within PDM. To ensure structured and unique numbering, we implemented a PDM add-in button that integrates directly into the file creation workflow. Users start by selecting a PDM template to generate a new SOLIDWORKS file. This launches the template, and they choose the predefined dropdowns for prefix 1 or 2, and this ensures the number aligns with the organization's numbering schemes. And we can, of course, make these mandatory, just like a standard data card functionality. And once the selections are made, clicking the Generate Number retrieves the next available serial number and assigns it to the new file. We've designed the add-in to take full advantage of out-of-the-box PDM functionality. Instead of relying on fully custom implementations, we extend PDM's existing tools to improve configurability and reduce maintenance overhead. By using PDM's built-in list structures, administrators can easily update and manage the prefixes without having to ever modify the code or really mess with configuration files. Admins can adjust numbering schemes directly within PDM, allowing the system to evolve with business needs. Updates are made through the PDM UI, eliminating the need for database modifications or any custom programming. By leveraging native PDM functionality, this ensures a seamless integration and minimal user training. A critical advantage of this particular approach is that it's scalable. As your organization grows, numbering needs may change, but this system can easily adapt without requiring additional work. Since the prefixes and categories are managed using PDM's built-in card list, making changes is simple. If a new prefix is needed, an administrator can update the card list directly in the PDM admin tool. And the new option will be immediately available to users. There's no need to code the updates. So new categories can be added at any time. Changes are applied instantly. And each new prefix in this particular solution will start a new unique counter for any new prefix value. Moving on to another PDM add-in, this solution is focused on streamlining the engineering change notice process. And we do this by leveraging PDM's task functionality. Managing engineering changes efficiently is critical. And one of the key challenges we address here is handling the file relationships between ECN document and affected items, as well as enforcing internal procedures. A major pain point in engineering change management is ensuring that all affected files are properly tracked and updated. Some common challenges include assemblies, drawings, and related documents must be linked to the ECN to ensure no files are overlooked. Without automation, tracking affected parts and associated drawings is time-consuming and prone to errors. Ensuring that changes flow smoothly through the ECN process can be difficult, especially when multiple departments are involved. Beyond managing file relationships, another key challenge in the ECN process is ensuring that only the correct files move through the workflows. Without proper controls, there's risk of unintended changes to released files, which can lead to compliance issues, version conflicts, or disruptions to manufacturing. To maintain data integrity, the ECN process needs strict workflow conditions that enforce rules around which files can transition between states. And some of the challenges we see here are preventing the unauthorized files from even being able to move out of a release state to keep that read-only permission status. Different files may have different approval requirements as well, so the workflow needs to be able to adapt. And manually tracking which files should transition and enforcing conditions can be inefficient and, again, error-prone. To address these challenges, our ECN add-in integrates PDM's task functionality to automate file tracking and enforce these workflow conditions. Let's check out how it works. To address the challenges of file relationships and workflow conditions, we implemented a PDM task add-in that automates key steps of the ECM process. And this solution leverages that built-in task functionality of PDM, which helps ensure traceability and integration within existing workflows. Now, why do we use PDM tasks? Well, the PDM task framework provides a structured way to execute automated processes and maintains that visibility and control through our task list. The task list logs every task that executes within the PDM environment and makes it easy to track when ECN actions were performed and by whom. Tasks are built out of the box with configurable user and group permissions as well. And this helps ensure only authorized users can initiate an ECN or maybe provide a final approval. Plus, there's an automatic feedback mechanism that sends notifications to users if an ECN fails or succeeds. And lastly, tasks can be configured to trigger at specific workflow transitions, and this helps ensure the ECN process is seamlessly embedded within the company's approval structure. In this particular solution, the users initiate the change by selecting the appropriate files that will be affected. Once the ECN is created and submitted, the PDM task takes over. It automatically establishes the necessary file relationships. This eliminates the need for manual reference management, ensuring a structured and reliable link between the ECN form and affected documents. And after final approval, the task will actually generate a PDF of the ECN form and links it back to the affected files for even longer-term traceability. And lastly, the add-in allows for variable mapping between ECN source document and the affected items. And this ensures that all relevant information is visible, such as part numbers, descriptions, current revisions, and it's accurately transferred to the ECN document. So no matter where you're viewing this data, you will have the pertinent information So this task extracts the metadata from the selected files, and it can insert it on the ECN form file data card, or it could even create a structured table of the affected items along with its metadata. Administrators can define which properties get mapped as well, and this allows for flexibility with different ECN requirements. With this level of automation, the ECN documentation remains consistent, accurate, and easily traceable. By integrating PDM tasks, automated references, and variable mapping, this add-in streamlines engineering change management while reducing the risk of errors. Now, the last add-in I want to introduce today is a SOLIDWORKS add-in that was designed to streamline a design workflow. When designing bottles and containers, the volume capacity is a critical specification. Whether it's for beverage packaging or pharmaceutical containers, or even industrial storage, companies must ensure that their designs meet exact volume requirements while optimizing material usage and manufacturability. Accurately calculating the internal fill volume of bottles and containers is a pretty critical task for the design engineer. Understanding exactly how much liquid the design can hold is essential. And unlike mass or surface area, internal fill volume is not a built-in one-click property of SOLIDWORKS. Now, you might be thinking, well, what if I use a shell feature, create a thin wall version, maybe use an intersect feature, and we can kind of isolate that internal volume. You can even attach a sensor to it and report back the volume of the remaining body. But in practice, bottles often feature organic curves and tight radii, which introduces small minimum radius, curvature radius values that make traditional features like shells unreliable. And if shelling fails, users must attempt workarounds such as offsetting surfaces. It gets kind of messy, which adds unnecessary complexity and really slows down those design iterations. With shelling out of the equation, the next option might be to manually calculate the volume using external tools, such as spreadsheets or even the equations. However, this approach does have some drawbacks. Transferring data manually introduces the possibility for mistakes that can result in inaccurate volume calculations. Which leads to the next challenge in bottle and container design is handling frequent design changes. Design engineers often iterate multiple times before finalizing a shape, adjusting factors like aesthetics, manufacturability, and capacity. However, each of these changes requires recalculating that internal fill volume, adding time and complexity to the design process. With every design modification, users must manually extract dimensions and update external calculations, and that can really significantly slow down the iteration speed. And if changes are not carefully tracked, previous calculations may no longer be valid, leading to incorrect volume estimates. And since manual calculations rely on user input, every adjustment introduces one more opportunity for data entry mistakes. To address the inefficiencies of manual calculations in frequent design iterations, this add-in takes a model-driven approach. Instead of requiring users to extract values manually or rely on external calculations, the tool dynamically calculates key properties based on the actual model geometry. Simply by selecting a face on the model, the add-in is able to automatically retrieve information such as the volume, width, depth, height, and maybe even previously specified user goals. The structured callout box appears in SOLIDWORKS, presenting the extracted values for immediate reference to the user. And ultimately, these are mapped to file properties for downstream usage. Calculations are derived directly from the SOLIDWORKS model, and this helps eliminate the user error for manual data entry. And no need to switch between SOLIDWORKS and external spreadsheets, especially when values update as the model changes. Engineers can quickly adjust their designs and see the real-time feedback on volume and material usage. To further enhance this add-in's usability and ensure seamless integration with the SOLIDWORKS workflow, it creates a custom feature in the design tree. Instead of being a one-time calculation, this feature remains embedded within the model. This allows the design engineers to access and update volume calculations as the design evolves. It appears just like any native feature in the SOLIDWORKS interface, which is intuitive for users familiar with the SOLIDWORKS application. This feature also preserves critical inputs such as the selected face, the material selections, and this ensures the engineers don't need to reselect the parameters each time the calculation is made. And since it's part of the model history in our design tree, when the design is modified and a rebuild is executed, the volume calc feature in the design tree automatically rebuilds and recalculates our goals. And when it recalculates, it provides live feedback to the design engineers. Instead of performing these calculations manually, we actually see the reference plane update position based on their new calculated fill height. By maintaining a live reference to the target fill level, engineers can ensure the design meets capacity specifications without exceeding or undershooting limits. Now that we've walked through each solution, let's take a look at the specific business outcomes that each add-in delivers. These solutions were designed to eliminate inefficiencies, streamline processes, and accelerate engineering workflows, all while seamlessly integrating into SOLIDWORKS and PDM. Managing smart number schemes manually can be tedious and error-prone, and requires manual tracking and updates. The add-in automates the assignment of structured, unique serial numbers, ensuring consistency across projects. Reduces the time spent managing those part numbers and allows engineers to focus on design rather than data entry. ECM processes often suffer from inefficiencies as well due to manual approvals, file relationship tracking, and inconsistent workflow conditions. With our add-in, we ensure proper file relationships and workflow conditions are enforced, and we reduce that human error and maintain the traceability with our task add-in. This task add-in also automates variable linking between the ECN form and the affected items, which prevents incorrect or missing data from your ECN document. And lastly, we saw them manually calculating internal fill volume workflow, maybe using external spreadsheets or a shell function which may fail due to geometric conditions. The add-in removes the need for any of the external tools by embedding volume calculations directly within SOLIDWORKS. And these update dynamically as the model changes. This live feedback and persistent feature in the design tree, engineers can quickly validate volume requirements without manual recalcs. At the core of each of these solutions is a simple goal: to help engineering teams work faster, smarter, and with greater accuracy, by automating the repetitive nature of some tasks and ensuring seamless integration within their existing workflows. With these solutions in place, teams can focus more on innovation and less on administrative overhead, making their design processes more scalable, reliable, and efficient. So we've seen now how custom SOLIDWORKS and PDM add-ins can help eliminate any inefficiencies within workflows, reduce manual work, and streamline your processes. And by now you're probably thinking, great, can it make me a cup of coffee in the morning? Well, unfortunately we haven't designed that feature in there yet, but we might be able to get there. Jokes aside, the next step is yours. If you're ready to elevate your workflow with custom automation tailored to your engineering needs, we're here to help. Let's start a conversation about how our API services can deliver solutions built just for you. Contact us today and let's make engineering just a little bit easier, one add-in at a time.